Hello everyone, I'm here to tell you about a great book called The Monster Who Lost His Mane. I chose to include this book for several reasons. First of all, I really love reading about monsters or other imaginary creatures. I just really enjoy the fantasy of it and the idea of being able to think about the things that are scary or maybe not so scary in this book. One of the great things about this book is that it portrays monsters in a way that's different from what we normally think of. Kind of like Monsters, Inc. The monsters have, they're scary, but they also have kind of a cuddly side, and they turn out to be really, really awesome people, so to speak. So this monster book is about a little monster. His name's Monster, ironically. And he's friends with all the guys in Monsterwood. They're having a great time. And then one day he loses his mane. He loses the M. So if you look at the back of the book, it says mean, observant, noisy, super strong, and tough to please, envious, and remarkable. So he loses the M, so he's only observant, noisy, super strong, tough to please, envious, and remarkable. All great characteristics. But the other monsters don't see it that way. They make fun of him and tease him because he's not mean anymore. He just doesn't have it in him. So the monster, as he's now called without his M, decides to go out and figure out who he is as a person rather than continuing to try to fit in, because all of his efforts are failing. He tried to be mean and he just did something nice instead. And to him that was a failing, but to me, I thought that was kind of cool. So eventually he goes out and he meets all these children. He has so much fun with them. And every time he thinks about doing something mean, like throwing eggs at someone's truck, he ends up doing something nice, like making brunch for the whole family. So eventually he figures out that he's not really a monster anymore. He's an onster, which is a totally different thing. And so he kind of trudges home to Monsterwood, and he just doesn't know what he's going to do because he doesn't fit in. He doesn't fit in Monsterwood, and he doesn't know if he's going to fit in with the children either because he's still an onster. He's not a child. So when he gets back to his house, he has a really big surprise. All the children he's met are there to celebrate him, to tell him how awesome he is. It's very cool because they celebrate him being an onster, which for him, he thought that was a bad thing, but they're like, it's a great thing. So eventually he figures out that he's an onster, and that's great. And he learns to love himself for being an onster, and he's the happiest he's ever been. So I think this book exemplifies the genre of a picture book because in this book, the pictures really help tell the story. There's not a lot of words, but on each page, the pictures really show what's going on. So on this page, he's saying goodbye to his friends because he just doesn't fit in anymore. I think children will connect with this book for a lot of reasons. I think a lot of kids have had the experience of being bullied or feeling left out. And I think actually, I know I have, so I'm sure a lot of other kids have too. And it really is powerful to understand that, if bullies are bullying you, well, that's their problem. You are you, and it's a good thing to be yourself. And there's going to be a group of people who love and accept you for just who you are, which is exactly what the onster found in this book. So to me, this book is about accepting differences because the onster has to learn to accept himself now that he is different from the other monsters. Self-acceptance is a hard thing to learn, especially when you're different from the people around you. So I think reading books like this, where a character is different, but he learns to accept himself, can really empower kids to start thinking about doing that for themselves. I also think that this book provides a lot of teachable moments in regards to how the other monsters treat the onster. I think all the kids will agree with you that those monsters are being mean. It's not fair. It's not right. Kids don't like bullies. But the real question becomes, are we kind to the people in our classroom, in our school, in our community that are different, or are we just like the monsters? And if not, if we're not being kind to those people that are different, how can we learn to appreciate the differences and to like those people for who they are instead of teasing them or ostracizing them for who they're not? So I think that's the lesson that this book can really open up for teachers and students to talk about, because it's not like talking about regular kids, it's talking about monsters. So it removes a little bit from their situation so they can really look at it from an outside and then connect to it themselves about how they behave and how they treat others. So I hope you enjoy this book. Again, it's The Monster Who Lost His Mean.